2020 is arguably the dumbest year we've had in recent human history. With all the political, social, and, biological issues we faced that year, it's not a great year that most people want to reminisce on. Except for me, because I have an iceberg for it. If you don't know what the whole iceberg trend is on YouTube, you must be living under the most heaviest rock in the world. Basically, you start off on the top, the surface. This right here is the most well-known and talked about things on whatever topic you're viewing it on. And the deeper you go, the less people know about. If you're still confused about it, just look it up on YouTube. There's literally one on everything you could think about. It's like Rule 34. If it exists, then there's an iceberg for it. The one I'm using is made by my great friend on Twitter. Go follow her. But yeah, I won't waste any more time. Let's get into it. This is a surface level, basically the shit everyone knows about. Because of the way this year was, a lot of the stuff on this level is very political, so to prevent a war in the comments, I'm just gonna real quickly brush over these since I'm sure everybody knows about them and has their differing opinions. Yeah, this one's pretty self-explanatory. If you don't know what the 2019 novel coronavirus is, then that's one sturdy rock you're under. In the final months/weeks of 2019, an outbreak of coronavirus, now known as COVID-19, happened in China, eventually spreading its way around the world. And this outbreak, which we thought would only last, a couple weeks to a month, shut down the entire world for us and shaped the rest of 2020. I'm gonna leave it at here though, because YouTube doesn't like when you talk about an ongoing pandemic, which is the stupidest thing ever. Honestly, this one still sticks with me, and it's still crazy that this happened. On January 26, NBA star Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi Bryant and 7 other people all died in a helicopter accident in Calabasas, California, after it's believed that the pilot lost his sense of direction due to heavy fog. Rest in peace. 2020 had the most active hurricane season in recent memory. We saw 30 subtropical storms, 13 of which developed into fucking hurricanes. This lasted from May of that year to November. Not much more to learn since this happens every year, but 2020 was pretty bad. Remember when we were like 3 days into 2020 and someone decided to call in a missile strike to kill another person? Yeah, this is when a lot of people started to believe a war with Iran and the United States was gonna happen. Luckily, it didn't. Yet. After the death of George Floyd in the hands of police abuse of power, nationwide Black Lives Matter protests happened everywhere, and this led to one of the largest civil rights movements in the 21st century. I'm sure this was the first thing that happened that made us all think 2020 was not going to be a good year. These fires burned at least 46 million acres and destroyed over 5,900 buildings. At least 34 people died during this. Every 4 years in American democracy, an election is held to choose who the next president of the United States is. And unfortunately, all the shit show 2020 things had to happen during an election year, and everything became political because of it. After COVID hit, we saw one of the worst stock market crashes since 2008, which really destroyed the American economy. Okay, good now. We're finally done with all the political shit. We can now move down a level deeper onto the water level, or whatever the hell people call it, and this is where stuff gets really juicy. Not there yet, but this is where it starts getting good. This refers to Bill Lapshish, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, who is a 103-year-old veteran who somehow survived COVID-19. Now, if you don't know anything about the virus, you know the most vulnerable to die from it are the elderly. Except for this guy. He's believed to be the oldest COVID-19 survivor. Dude survived this in World War II. What a badass. Harvey Weinstein is one hell of an asshole. He raped and abused dozens of women throughout his life, leading him to get himself sentenced to 23 years in prison. Honestly, it should have been more. Dude's straight up fucked up. I remember when August rolled around, everyone thought that 2020 calmed down a bit and everything will be easier from then on. But then a massive explosion in Beirut, Lebanon took place. This is because a massive amount of ammonium nitrate was stored in one single area for a long time and a fire broke out, causing this massive explosion. If you watch the video, it's really something to behold. You don't see this every day. Parasite, which I gotta say is a really solid film. It absolutely slaps. It won 4 fucking Oscars that year, which is a lot since it's a foreign film and it won so many Oscars. If feels like every year a massive game totally goes viral. 2014 was FNAF, 2015 was Undertale, etc, etc. But this year we got Among Us, which is literally just murder mystery with its own twist. It took over Twitch and YouTube and the hearts of all like 5-year-olds in the world. I don't know, it's actually pretty fun. Once upon a time, the supreme leader of North Korea decided to have surgery done on himself, but this led to him being in a coma / very sick. Because North Korea is a very close country, American media had no clue what the fuck is going on, and everyone decided to theorize that the surgeon who did it was Agent 47 trying to get him killed, which at the time was a believable theory since all we got from the DPRK was radio silence, until like a week later he was in a photo and he's still alive and well. I hope you had some massive stock in Zoom in 2019 because goddamn it blew up. You know, because of the pandemic, a lot of people couldn't work out of work, so they needed to find a way to work from home, and this god of a program called Zoom came falling down from the heavens to bless everyone to continue their careers. Literally, it's nothing special. It's just a better version of Skype where your audio quality doesn't sound like this, and it's not gamer enough to be Discord, so kinda beat it. Sometime in July, a ton of accounts, like around 150 verified accounts ranging from CEOs to entire companies, all tweeted out announcing that they're giving back to their community, and then puts the most sketch link ever. Well, turns out there wasn't a mass agreement from all companies and people to give out free Bitcoin, but instead it was a scam, obviously. You gotta be one hell of an idiot to actually fall for this scam, especially when it's Elon Musk tweeting it. Around $110,000 was stolen because of this hack, which to me seems pretty small because of how many goddamn accounts got hacked to tweet it. With an ongoing pandemic in the world, there has to be a stop to it, and basically throughout the entire year, a lot of companies began researching how to cure COVID, and not only did the vaccine get created, but also started distributing. There's also a billion stupid conspiracy theories about it, but yeah, we'll get to that later on. Japan is a great country, honestly. They export a lot of amazing stuff to the United States. Anime, food, culture, and also murder hornets. Murder hornets are hornets that can literally murder you. Like seriously, look how big this thing is. So apparently they found their way over to the States, and there was a lot of worry that they would inhabit the US and kill off our bee populations, which would lead to our extinction basically. Just look at all the things we have because of honeybees. Oh, and these things had the capacity to kill you as well, if that's what you also worry about. Actor Chadwick Boseman, which you know for playing the role as T'Challa in Black Panther, sadly passed away in August from colon cancer. May he rest in peace. Amazing actor and is in a ton of great movies. Oh, nice. We finally just hit the water. This is where it starts getting deeper and deeper. Let's dive in. I don't mean that literally. I hope you're aware of who Mr. Peanut is. Yes, the mascot. Well, he died heroically in this ad to save his two buddies. The trio was driving down a road in Mr. Peanut's signature vehicle, the Nutmobile, but Mr. Peanut had to swerve to avoid an obstacle, but this led to them flying down into a canyon, but luckily they all grab onto a branch to hang on to. Mr. Peanut, though, heroically lets go of the branch, plummeting into the canyon below, letting his friends live, but sacrificing himself. This led to a ton of sad people on the internet, but luckily he was replaced by Baby Nut. I don't know what any of this fucking thing is about, and I'm still confused on what any of this is, but yeah, good marketing. Last of Us 1 was a great game. Amazing gameplay, story, world, and all the reviews in general were just great. Then we saw the sequel, Last of Us 2, which comes out last year with some pretty bad reviews. Now, the fans not liking the game is one thing, but somehow it wins every fucking game award of 2020. Look at this, every single one basically. It was in like every nomination in the goddamn world. Naughty Dog, who's the developers in case you didn't know, they have to be deep in the pockets of these guys probably. Nicolol, better known as OK Boomer Girl, blew up massively on TikTok and Twitter because of her looks. Literally, that's it. That's all. And this is what led to the rise of the now infamous term simp. Everyone on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch became extremely thirsty for her, trying to woo her over until it was discovered, well, she had a boyfriend. Then everyone pulled a massive 180 and started hating on her because she was affectionate to another man. Yeah, how many people remember this video back when she was popping off? Now her YouTube channel is kinda dead, but there's still a few simps that remain who are just simping for her. Speaking of simping, it was discovered that iDubbbz is one as well. Well, more like a cuck actually. How did this happen? Well, his girlfriend, who personally, I don't even think she's all that, I'm just gonna throw my opinion into there, created an OnlyFans account, and instead of, stopping his girlfriend from selling photos and videos of herself with no clothes on, he embraced it and defended it. And this led to everyone thinking that he probably goes around to ask random fucking people to fuck his girlfriend so he can watch. We lost iDubbbz to the simp invasion as well. This is the 13th day of March. This is when the United States basically locked down the country because of COVID and everybody got to go home. I remember the hype on this day and how amazing it was, and now we're all wanting to go back to school. All we were told is, oh yeah, 2 weeks off. And now it's been months. It's gonna hit a year pretty soon. Katerina, who was Call Me Carson's girlfriend, I put quotations around girlfriend because some say they never were dating but actually were just super close friends. Well, it turns out she slept with Carson's best friend Fitz, and yeah, you know what that does to a man. After this, Carson just went MIA from YouTube and Katerina was getting a ton of hate on what she did. But also recently with the whole Call Me Carson situation with him talking to like girls that are like 3 years younger than him, some new info came out saying that actually Fitz asked Carson if him and Katerina could sleep and he was cool about it. A lot of info is still coming out about this, but yeah, Katerina did a yikes. Bella Delphine at one point was the biggest e-girl in the history of the internet, to the point people were buying out her bathwater to do whatever the hell knows with it. Like most good things, she came to an end sometime in 2019 because everything comes and goes. But Bella Delphine made a comeback with a video literally called I'm Back, boosting her back into popularity this year again. Oh, and you know what else this kind of reminds me of? Yeah, Leafy was pretty massive back in 2015 and most especially 2016. Remember at one point he was on track to be the fastest growing YouTuber ever, and if you know Leafy, you know his videos are overwhelmingly edgy and just excessive in general. One day in 2017, Leafy stopped uploading and everyone wondered where has that doofus went off to and will he ever come back? Well, then 3 years later, all of a sudden he starts to shitpost on his YouTube channel and officially comes back. But a few months later, his channel gets banned for good and it's still not there. That was really short-lived, and I don't know where the fuck he is now. Hopefully he makes a comeback again, but doesn't look like it. Tiger King is a Netflix documentary that released when lockdown first started, and I guess that's part of the reason why it blew up so much at the time. It's about Joe Exotic and his tiger zoo cat business, which let's say is really questionable with his ethics and all that. It's a great documentary. If it's still on Netflix, you should go watch it. It was basically the highlight of quarantine when it first started. Animal Crossing is another massive game to come out in 2020, and it became the best-selling game of March of that year. If you're unfamiliar on what Animal Crossing is, then it's kind of like The Sims, but with animals. I don't know, it's pretty fun. Not much else about it. Last year was a massive year for this little game. I'm not sure, have you ever heard about it? I think it's called Minecraft. Yeah, Minecraft made a massive resurgence in this year because everyone started playing it again, and you got a ton of massive Minecraft YouTubers that are new, like Dream, who in like 10 years, all the kids who are watching him now will view him as like Sky Does Minecraft or something. And just in general, Minecraft just made a huge return, and I'm happy about it. I love Minecraft. Who doesn't? As I said earlier, this video is gonna contain politics, of course, because that's the course of how the year went. So, if you don't want to hear what I have to say, then you can leave. After the election that happened in 2020 that we talked about, like, way back on the surface level, the losing side decided to say, hey, the election was rigged and that's why I lost. And this was basically the cherry on top for the year, because then the next 2 months and then the month following in 2021, you had to deal with all this stupid conspiracy theory shit. Luckily it's over now, but yeah, it was just a cherry on top for the year. With the election year, a very prominent figure in hip-hop decided, hey, I'm gonna run for president. And this figure was Kanye West. Yeah, do you guys even remember this? I kind of forgot about it because it lasted like a day and he already dropped out of the race. But it seems like he's gonna try again or something. Who knows? But he can keep trying. I don't think Kanye is ever gonna get it. Ellen DeGeneres, which she owns like the worst show in all of television. I don't watch it, and I don't know anybody that watches it because who likes it. She unsurprisingly got exposed for having a toxic workplace where she mistreats her employees. Well, I don't think she herself mistreats her employees, but the higher ups do. And there's just like all this allegations about being overworked, being abused, all that. To be honest, it's kind of surprising from her because she always ticks me off as the annoying kind. Steven Universe is a great show that ran from 2013 up to 2020. Which is a cartoon about like aliens and all that. It's pretty good. Season finale after 7 years finally ended in 2020, and it was a good show. Oh god, where do I start with this? Okay, so first off, we can go over everyone who got canceled. I'm not going to do that. That is too long, and I just don't have the patience to write out something that long. But cancel culture is a thing where, let's say someone says something mean 10 years ago on Twitter, they'll try to find that and then cancel them, basically trying to expose them for some like fucked up thing they said or did back in the day. And this really has exploded, and in my opinion, with the rise of TikTok, there's been way more idiots who are feeding into cancel culture, which I think is unhealthy, to just simply pile on top of somebody if it's something they said as a joke 10 years ago. But again, context does matter in these situations, but most of the time on Twitter it doesn't, so yeah. So WAP, or Wet Ass Pussy, is a certified hit made by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. This song blew up, hit #1 for a couple weeks. No one has talked about it ever since. What I like the most about this song is how much it angered conservative media outlets who, yeah, I'm talking about Ben Shapiro.
Wet ass P-word.
Ton of good memes came out. Songs, I don't know. Songs alright. Not the best thing ever, but it's not good. I'm gonna preface this. I don't know shit about British politics, nor do I want to care about British politics. But if you don't know what the European Union was, it's basically the Soviet Union of European countries. UK decided to leave that. That's all I know. Like, seriously. So, if you don't know who Ghislaine Maxwell is, then I hope you know who Jeffrey Epstein is. Jeffrey Epstein suicided himself in prison a couple years ago because of his power and influence and what he could do. His associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, is also in the same boat. She did the same things Epstein did because they kind of worked together. But everyone was confused. Why was she never arrested? She finally got arrested, like years after all these allegations came out. There's a lot of talk, oh, she's gonna suicide herself by 6 gunshots in the back of the head or something like that. As of recording now, she's still okay. There still hasn't been a conviction yet, but we'll see where it goes because, yeah. Siren Head is a creepypasta made by an artist called Trevor Henderson, and at first I believe it was really spooky. I thought it was terrifying at first. I was happy creepypasta culture was coming back. Sadly, it got ruined because so many people started talking about it and so many memes came out of it. It just became an other thing, another Momo or something. But you got a lot of great games. You had the Siren Head game come out of this, and then there's this awesome Fallout 4 mod, which you gotta download that. That really enhances your experience. Literally what Siren Head is this big massive walking tree with a siren that plays the broken Chicago tornado alarm, I think it is. And everyone's like, ooh, I shit my pants because they all thought it was scary. I personally don't think it's scary. I just like the whole appeal of it. I think it looks cool. I think the whole lore is cool. But yeah, the original artist, Trevor Henderson, he's amazing. He does a ton of this stuff. Go check him out. Just as how bad the weather was, the wildfires were even worse. There was one spreading millions of acres through California, Oregon, and other parts of the West, which burnt 5.8 million acres through Washington, Oregon, and Cali. Sadly, I think killed around 46 people. I don't have a figure on it, but it's a pretty sad thing to also know that in the beginning of the year we had Australia, and in the middle you had the West Coast. Okay, the part of the iceberg we're at now is we're almost at the very bottom. Still not at the bottom, but yeah, it's getting kinda sad. Oh, yeah. Starting off with a goddamn conspiracy theory again. With the rollout of 5G being at the exact same time as the COVID-19 virus, a lot of people put two and two together. Wait, if 5G can fry, I put fry in quotations because it really doesn't. If 5G can fry your brain, is that what's causing the virus? So this led to a ton of Facebook idiots to start believing that 5G causes coronavirus and doing stupid stuff like trying to burn down 5G towers, claiming the virus isn't real and manufactured by fucking AT&T. I don't know, because that makes sense to cause that outbreak like that, even though non-ionizing radiation does not work like that. It doesn't infect you. It's not fucking Fallout. But this is a conspiracy theory deep down the rabbit hole that unfortunately a ton of people believe. I'm sure you didn't hear about the locust swarms. If you don't know what locusts are, they're these like annoying fucking bugs that every now and then will just swarm an entire area. Kenya just had the worst outbreak it's seen in 70 years. It spread through Kenya, Ethiopia, Somalia, and somehow found its way to India. What these locusts do is they just go into an area and eat up everything there, and this really fucked up the food supply in the region. But with the rise of this and murder hornets, I don't think it is going anywhere good when it comes to insects. So this one is referring to May of 2020. May had 59 mass shootings, which is the most in America. You know, we keep on setting new records. Hell yeah, let's not only make May the most mass shooting month, let's make the whole fucking year at this point. Honestly, it's kind of sad. I'm surprised these are happening because, like, we're locked down, but still America found a way to break the fucking record, right? Having the most mass shootings during a lockdown. Wow. This one in general is just probably talking about how press freedom in the world is declining now. You have a lot more censorship and a lot more attacks on journalists. There's so many examples to go over, but I don't want to go over all that. Video is already too long enough. A lot of people feel like it's just getting very hard to express your opinion, especially as a journalist, without getting killed or shot in the head 4 times. So yeah, a lot of people believe that the press freedom these days aren't as great as what it used to be. So massive rainflow in Jakarta, Indonesia flooded the area and killed 66 people, and 60,000 have been displaced because of it. This was really bad for a country that's also super struggling with COVID-19 at the same time, and the influx of natural disasters in general just, I don't know, it doesn't seem right. Okay, who remembers this? I remember back when we thought we were going to go to World War III with Iran. I remember waking up to news that Iran shot down an airplane above their airspace, and turns out they did. This Ukrainian airplane was bound from Iran to Ukraine. It was carrying actually a lot of Canadians. This plane had nothing to do with what was going on between the US and Iran. At the time, it was just taking off, and someone decided to fire a missile at it, and obviously, sadly, it killed everybody on board. It's felt like it's been so long that it's mostly forgotten by everybody. We're finally at the very bottom. This is the stuff that big brain people know. So the Mozambique Civil War was a war that happened from 1977 to 1992, and you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with 2020? Well, the Mozambique government decided to call war again, and as you know, history repeats itself. Okay, this one requires big boy brain to understand what I'm talking about. North Korea, the regime that hates the world the most, there's a theory spreading around that, hey, they actually made COVID. Think about it. It all makes sense. They're on the border with China, they hate the rest of the world, and they don't want to nuke anybody. Obviously, this is just a fucking conspiracy, but, you know, idiots believe anything. This is one I'm the most confused about, and it's the last thing on this iceberg. The 2020 Super Bowl was the most boring shit I ever watched. The 49ers and the Chiefs, which, say what you want, I don't care about either team, even the Chiefs now. I really didn't care about the Super Bowl. I don't think many other people remembered it either. Wait, that means no one has remembered the 2020 Super Bowl. It's all part of the simulation. Alright, well that's the end of the 2020 Iceberg. If there's a better one, if there's another one, send it to me. I'll gladly make a video on this. Also, sorry for not uploading in years. I'm working on this massive video soon. I don't have an ETA on when that's coming out or if it will come out at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna start uploading way more. If you watched this, you liked it, you didn't like it, subscribe please. I would greatly appreciate it. I could do more content like this for fun. New stuff coming soon. Peace.
Don't ask me questions, 'cause I'm tired of confessing.